after the unified field, would reach the end of a concept that we've been developing over 3-4 years.
We've said all we want to say in this context, that intense editing, manipulation, piecing it all together kind of way.
We really felt like we needed something new, something that would challenge us, something that would excite us again. I grew up in Senegal and always wanted to go back and work with musicians there. I think the idea of coming to Senegal was a spark.
The spark's become an entry to a whole new musical culture, which I've had no experience of at all, and you're re-embracing in a completely new way. We turned up with absolutely nothing pre-recorded. We were very conscious that because we were going blind into a recording session, we needed something, a backing track as it were, to give the inspiration to them.
The first thing we did was to record a radio, like Senegalese radio.
Just had a woman speaking in Wolof and she just said, publicité, Dakar.
And then we cut up some loops of that and played that to the djembe player, to Waraba.
Right. We can put it somewhere on, when we do it, somewhere on the back. Is that do you want to play with a click or just free?
Click, no.
Free.
Yeah.
We were quite lucky to get Waraba first. I think that helped create this recording process, and that was us saying to them, do a warm-up piece, whatever you're comfortable with, and then the big moment where we dropped some kind of processed loop that we'd been working into their headphones and see how they responded to that.
That to play to the chorus was and it was like a snowball effect, and then there was more and more stuff to play to.
Yeah.
What I really enjoyed about yesterday is that I realised why I was there for. It's like I really wanted that raw, immediate relationship to creativity, because it's the opposite of what I do. I just do computers, so I'm thinking. And he started screaming as he was playing. I was like, this is the energy was incredible.
We were essentially looking for loops in the beginning. Sometimes I would find a clean loop from a bit of recording and give it to Franz and say, do you want to try and treat this into something a bit more ambiguous? Or equally, Franz might make some huge long texture, which I would try and interrogate the tempo from it.
And you can play to this definitely today.
Yeah.
I got it. Philippe Lansay. Ils sont trois.
Bonjour.
There's three of them.
Oh, hi.
Salam alaikum.
Salam.
Wow.
That instrument is not made anymore.
Envoie une disparition.
It's like
Depuis l'Espagne, sans espèce sans extinction.
we're going to do that one first.
Ah, kilo chasmo.
Non, câble bureau là.
West African music in general is entrancing. It's amazing. They're all playing their groove, and they can play it for 7 minutes. Sometimes you'd get into a groove and they'll be playing it for 6-7 minutes, and you'll be recording that and knowing that you were looking for something maybe a bit more deconstructed or a bit more free, and they just don't stop playing. Never stop playing.
Good.
Fantastic.
That's where the anxiety comes from. You're like, okay, I've got an hour or two with this person, and I really want to try and push something out of them which is different to their warm-up track, and hopefully something that has a connection to us. There'd be cases with Waraba where you were away in 5 minutes, and then there were other cases like one of the kora players, Abdu. You know, we actually ended up with this beautiful bit of processing which has ended up in as a key aspect of the track named after him. At the time, it was definitely anxiety making, because you'd say something to hopefully inspire a direction, and they wouldn't necessarily get it at all. We weren't dealing with conventional pen and paper musicians or writing out parts or anything like that.
The musical culture is very different there, in the sense that they still have a very direct relationship with the music they play. It's very folk by nature. The music they play is about stories, things that happen to them, or traditional things that have been passed on and changed. They're not aware of trends or styles of music. They just play their instrument, and it was very refreshing to work with people like this, because suddenly you play them something that's really awkward or distorted or strange, and yes, they'll be surprised, but that would be only like 10 seconds, and they start, okay, I'll play something to that. It's just doesn't matter.
He's a kora player.
Sounds great.
I suppose that was the greatest moments of joy as well, because you'd play something to them and maybe tell them about a little bit they'd played before that was a really good starting point. You'd feel them respond. It suddenly moved from a bit of traditional Senegalese music to a Senegalese sound within a piano-interrupted frame.
Très très intéressant.
Ça marche vraiment bien, ouais.
Those two kora players were interesting in respect that the young fellow who had the whole and being tradition is being passed down, dad's sitting there judging him. You know, it's like, here's my son, he's going to play. you know, and yet he was the one who wasn't constrained by the weight of history. I really felt that strongly for the first time today. You could hear the digital world in him. You could hear our interconnected global world.
And the whole world around the record, the way we did it, what happened to us in Senegal and how we worked after, which is about things that are hidden and coming out in the light and disappearing, and I don't know, there's something quite playful about it. I think with Unified Feel we had loads of expectations, I think, from it. We were quite violently, you know, pushing things into, because we were trying to do something very unifying all this stuff, and I think it was really refreshing to say, you know what, it doesn't matter, we'll see what happens.
It has been a more pleasurable process making it. You listen to anything, and subconsciously there is a memory attached to that sound.
With landscapes, we went away. It's associated to a human experience, to a travel. We left our daily routine. We enable ourselves to be completely submerged in creativity and to be like receptive to all this energy and music and stuff. And that's what we brought back here.